Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what makes you not want to have kids? Gestures broadly. Like, everything. All the reasons. I can barely take care of myself, sometimes it feels like, can't possibly take on another human. More selfishly, there's still a lot of things I want to do that I couldn't if I had a kid. Lastly, just a pessimistic view of the world and the desire to not want to bring new life into that. I couldn't have written it better. Every time I just have black coffee for breakfast, I wonder how in heaven's sake am I supposed to take care of a kid from childbirth up to his /her/their 2020s. I mean, they can have black coffee for breakfast too. My mental health and financial situation. I wouldn't want to raise a kid the same way I was raised. Money, responsibility, not having any good genes to pass on. Kids. The best birth control is seeing everyone else's shitty kids. I love my niece and nephew. Every time I see them I have a blast. And every time I leave I think, thank fuck that's over. It's irreversible, you have kids when you've committed to it, so when you have all those doubts and fears you might not be a good parent, it's hard to take the plunge. Plus I'd have to find someone to have a kid with and make more money for it to be viable, but I think they are secondary to actually wanting to go through with it. You have them, but it is generally frowned upon. Not trusting myself enough that I'd be motivated enough to take care about them constantly and treat them the way they deserve. Edit, I guess this could be interpreted as a fear of commitment or running away from responsibility. But for now I am committed to my freedom, I seek spaciousness. I told my sister a few years ago that I don't want kids because I'm too selfish. I like my freedom, my peace and quiet, my life with just me and my husband where money is still sometimes tight but it's just us. She told me that was the most unselfish thing she'd ever heard. Imagine if you bowed to peer and family pressure and had a kid you didn't want / couldn't take care of the way a kid needs. Knowing yourself enough to not put you or your hypothetical child in that situation is incredibly smart and not at all selfish. Your sister's right. Having a kid can be one of the ultimate acts of selfishness in many circumstances. People often have them because they want to have them, even when it's often a very bad idea to have them. Not everyone is built to be a parent. Being self-aware enough to acknowledge that may not be you is actually pretty responsible, IMO. This. Growing up, if my dad couldn't fix a problem by throwing money at it or using his hands, he usually made it worse. Mom ended up doing 99% of the actual parenting and I grew up with low self-esteem, crippling depression, and terrible anxiety. Dad's not a bad person. It's just that he wasn't equipped to be a parent when it wasn't fun for him. Those kids who have parents that are perfectly normal but still somehow act like mini serial killers. Yeah. Nature vs nurture. As the parent of 2 kids and sibling of 6, it's clear to me personalities are simply a dice roll. See, that terrifies me for having another. My daughter is perfect, the Kwisatz Haderach, what if I have another child and it's a complete fucking lemon? Watching my sister's kid get kicked out of daycare for slamming a kid's face into a table and hitting a teacher. He's 3, and the most difficult kid I've met. Edit, lol, I've got replies saying he's being abused and replies saying he's being gentle parented. It's a catch-22, no matter what you're either too rough or too gentle. He lives at my house with his mom and sister, I usually WFH, no one beats him, and he is regularly punished. Now someone's gonna say he's punished too much. He just gives no fucks. Growing up with an inexplicably evil older sibling. Kids aren't always sweet and innocent. True. And the fucked up thing is, sometimes kids are just shitty. You can have amazing supportive and loving parents and an absolute shit of a kid. I have one easygoing kid and one very difficult behavioral challenged kid. I mean, I am pretty sure he is taking years off my life with stress and worry. I used to think kids were a product of their home life and as long as we were loving and stable, our kids would have no big issues. Well, I have learned that that is not always true. And I no longer judge parents as harshly as I used to. I've been clinically depressed for almost a decade. Postpartum depression is one of the things that terrifies me about the prospect of having kids. Also, I am in no way mentally stable enough to be a parent. I feel this in my soul. Everything about pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum life just sounds terrifying. Oh, I may experience wild hormonal swings that make me feel crazy. Cool. I may lose teeth because of increased gingivitis and my body prioritizing nutrition to the fetus. Awesome. I may wind up with one combo vagina/rectum after giving birth, instead of two separate holes. Fantastic. I will probably always pee myself a little when I run, laugh, or sneeze. Wonderful. I won't be able to take lots of important medication for the 2 years that pediatricians recommend nursing. Great. There's a non-trivial risk that I will literally die while giving birth. Just peachy. I won't be able to eat deli meat, sushi, large fish, coffee, or alcohol for a year minimum. Delightful. I'll probably barf my guts out for 7 weeks. Glorious. I'll spontaneously leak milk from my boobs if I hear a baby crying. Marvelous. I might get an yeast infection on my nipples from breastfeeding my baby. Magnificent. I had athlete's foot for 3 years due to back-to-back pregnancies. I got it at a nail salon getting my baby shower pedicure. The second my second child stopped breastfeeding, I took the medication and it cleared up in a week. This is shit people do not think about. I've been dealing with a mentally disabled older brother for nearly all my life. He's 32 years old, but acts like a 7-year-old nearly all the time. I love him to death, but after so long of dealing with him growing up, I'm 22, I just do not have the patience to handle something like that again. Edit, wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the kind and understanding comments everyone. To everyone else struggling with something similar, know that you're not alone. It may feel exhausting at days, and sometimes you might wish you weren't even in such a postio. But cherish those moments you share with them where they're the happiest you've ever seen them. Because at the end of the day, you're all they have left. I fear for my brother's future every day, and hope that he grows up well without the need for us to care for him 24/7. This is my big one. I feel terrible for this, but the fear of having a child that isn't going to grow into a fully independent person with no limitations stopped me dead. If there was a guarantee they would be of average mental capability, I might reconsider. Don't feel terrible for it. I've seen firsthand how hard it is having a child with disabilities. You can do everything right the entire pregnancy and everything can seem perfect, and when delivery comes, shit can still go south. It happened to my mom. My sister had a stroke during birth and as a result my mom had to quit a career she worked really hard for to be a full-time mom. She had to manage doctor's appointments and medications and speech therapy and physical therapy and regular therapy and IEPs and bullying at school. My sister is almost 30 and will likely never leave home. I've seen what kind of a person it takes, and I am not that person. I'm not willing to risk giving birth to a child I will end up resenting through no fault of their own. The fact that nothing really makes me want to have them. I feel like you should have an overwhelming desire to become a parent. I don't, so why would I have a kid? As a child of a parent who didn't actively want them, thank you for thinking about what this does to a kid. Pregnancy. This is 90% of it for me. I've always been terrified of pregnancy, but I thought I'd feel more comfortable with it as I got older. Nope. I'm 34 and the thought of being pregnant still freaks me out to no end. I'd love to adopt, but I don't think I ever want to be pregnant. Watching my wife's stomach grow and her deal with all the side effects. Watching them go and snip the back of her vagina open to allow more space, seeing my son ejected. I was like, fuck, I could never have done this in her place. This. Can't believe I had to scroll so far to find this one. I have an uterus and the entire process of pregnancy, from insemination to the eventual endpoint, is skin-peelingly unacceptable to me, who will theoretically be occupying the same body throughout. The more I hear /learn, the worse it sounds. Ali Wong and Reddit have confirmed that my broken biological clock has served me well. Edit, the scene in the bell jar watching a delivery sums it up. You oughtn't to see this, delivery. You'll never want to have a baby if you do. They have to let women watch. It'll be the end of the human race. Even more when I won't be allowed to end it if something bad happens. So many people don't realize this is a huge part of why abortion is so important. They are stuck on the you deserve to have a baby as a punishment for sex even if you don't want it, it's your responsibility. But they don't realize or care or consider that so many wanted pregnancies end in elective abortion because the fetus is developing without a brain or starts bleeding or lacks vital organs and would never be able to live once born. Forcing a woman to carry an unviable pregnancy to term or give birth to a severely disabled baby with absolutely no quality of life that has only a brain stem and will only survive on constant life support for a few weeks is totally backwards and barbaric. It makes no sense at all. Most of these states have made it clear they only allow exceptions in the case of the mother's life being threatened, but not if the fetus is basically unviable unless it dies naturally inside of the mother, or starts bleeding out and she needs very risky emergency care. They would force a woman to carry an unviable pregnancy, like a fetus without a brain, to term or until it stops developing on its own. It is insanity, and it's also very common for that to happen.